Right, guys, this is the latest in the ongoing saga of disgraced attorney, the South Carolina hotshot, Alec Murdaugh. And he wants a new trial. He wants a new trial after being convicted of the murder of his wife Maggie and his son Paul earlier this year. His case has been referred back to the circuit court, and the latest is that they want the beloved Judge Clifton Newman removed as the judge on all of Alec's pending cases, because there's financial stuff and the whole thing. Well, this is what Court TV are reporting. New court filings that came out yesterday. So let's go through this article. This is from his attorneys, who, in a motion referring to their client as a disgraced former attorney and drug addict, Alec Murdaugh's attorneys, Statler and Waldorf, have asked for the South Carolina Supreme Court to remove Judge Clifton Newman from all of Murdaugh's pending cases, including the appeal for his murder conviction. As we know, Judge Newman sentenced Murdaugh to 2 life sentencing on March the 3rd, 2023, after being found guilty of Maggie and Paul's murders. Okay. Filed an appeal for his conviction alleging inappropriate behaviour and jury tampering by Clerk of Court Rebecca Hill. Last week, the South Carolina Court of Appeals granted his motion to remand the case back to Circuit Court for a hearing on the clerk's behaviour. In a writ of prohibition filed on November 1st, Murdaugh's attorneys have asked that Judge Newman be removed not only from the pending hearing on jury tampering, but from any criminal case in which Murdaugh is the defendant. He faces a trial on November 27th, for financial crimes, that's a date for your diary, in front of Judge Newman. The motion argues that the judge should be removed based on his personal knowledge of Hill's conduct, as well as what Murdaugh's attorneys describe as numerous statements in violation of the Code of Judicial Conduct. So, do they think Judge Newman is being biased against their client? Or do they think another judge would be more favourable? They make it clear that Judge Newman did nothing improper during Murdaugh's murder trial as presiding judge, but argue that Miss Hill's actions make Judge Newman a material witness regarding her conduct. In a letter sent to the judge on October 18th requesting he recuse himself, Dick Harpootlian emphasised his status as a witness. In response to the letter, Prosecutor Creighton Waters said the state would merely point out nothing in the law or defence counsel's allegations or speculation would require recusal, especially since Judge Newman would not have testimony that is critical or obtainable by other means. Okay. Murdaugh's attorneys said that evidence of Judge Newman's bias became evident immediately after the verdict when he addressed the jury. At the time, Newman told the jury, the verdict that you have reached is supported by all the evidence pointing to only one conclusion. And that's the conclusion that you've all reached. So I applaud you for, as a group and as a unit and individually, evaluating the evidence and coming to a proper conclusion. Does that sound biased? I guess it does. I guess it does sound biased, doesn't it? Anyway, let's carry on. Murdaugh's attorney said that language is prohibited by the Judicial Code of Conduct, which states, a judge shall not comment or criticise jurors for their verdict, but may express appreciation to jurors for their service to the judicial system and community. We got judge problems in the Delphi case. I didn't expect judge problems in this one, but I guess they've got a point, you know. At sentencing, Newman's comments again, Murdaugh's attorney said, show bias. I sit here in this courtroom and look around the many portraits of judges and other court officials and reflect on the fact that over the past century, your family, including you, have been prosecuting people here in this courtroom and many have received the death penalty, probably for lesser conduct. The court's outraged that Mr. Murdaugh presumed to defend himself as a manifestation of personal bias against Mr. Murdaugh arising from other facts that occurred years before the murders and from the prominence of privilege Mr. Murdaugh's family enjoyed and which Mr. Murdaugh abused. Murdaugh's attorney arguing the motion. Newman also gave several interviews after the verdict and sentencing discussing the trial that made national headlines, and Murdaugh's attorneys attached transcripts of the comments made by the judge as further evidence of bias against their client. In one interview at Cleveland State University College of Law, Judge Newman expressed opinions about the defence's decision to seek a jury review of the murder scene, as well as offering thoughts about rulings during the trial. Judge Newman admitted his decision to let the state present weeks of testimony on Mr. Murdaugh's financial crimes was pretty controversial. It was, but that's not bias. The comments he made, though... Hi, Cassie. Cassie's here. What's up? I've been sitting at this computer too long. Cassie's telling me this. But we're nearly done. According to Waters, recusal for bias is mandated only when the bias or personal knowledge must stem from an extrajudicial source not related to the judge's participation in the case. Okay, I'm going to have to look into this. This is interesting. In a footnote, Murdaugh's attorney specified that while the motion appears to focus solely on a murder appeal, the request is for the recusal to apply to all of their clients' pending cases. The grounds Mr. Murdaugh assets for disqualifying Judge Newman from presiding over future trial are identical to the asserted grounds for disqualifying him from hearing the motion for a new trial, except that Judge Newman does not have personal knowledge of disputed facts regarding Mr. Murdaugh's financial crimes. Well, I'll leave you with that face from Judge Newman. What do you think? It's interesting. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.